Pollie.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me to your meeting today. I'm really excited. I'm the heart, mind, soul and voice behind Dandelion Tales. I started storytelling back in 2005. I was just recovering from a really bad anxiety that had got me trapped inside my own house. I couldn't even go out into my own back garden to hang the washing on the line or anything like that. And I went to a meditation session, and it was a rebirthing thing. I hatched out of an egg, and I had this massive urge to tell a story that I'd written it years ago, and I got this urge to tell the story, and I told the story, and it was received really, really well. And a gentleman asked me to go to a poetry reading night that he organised, not poetry reading, but an open mic night that he organised, because he'd love to hear the story again, and he'd love to be told again. So I used it as a therapy for myself to get me out of my comfort zone, and it gave me a completely different form of anxiety. It gave me a fun anxiety. It sort of twisted it changed how I felt about anxiety, and it really helped me boost myself and build myself out. That gentleman actually became my husband, and we moved to and he supported me throughout my storytelling journey, and I ended up doing Birmingham Arts Fest for a couple of years, including the BBC Open Space. I was invited back there twice, and then when I moved down here to have my children, my storytelling skills changed to supporting them. So I'd create stories to help them get over an issue or deal with a problem. Especially with my daughter, as she's autistic, she finds it difficult to understand other people's mindsets and how they think, and that they've got a different thought pattern to them. So it really helped her if I used things that she was interested in the story to help her understand a bit more of other people. So I've always loved a bit of storytelling, and the last few years I've had much more of an urge to do it, much more of an urge to get back out there and tell my stories, but this time with a bit of a difference, including the traditional stories that I absolutely love that always have a message to them. I decided I was going to start telling some of my own stories, because I've overcome quite a lot in my 47 years, and I keep growing and keep changing, and I just thought it would be nice to share some of that with somebody. And in connection with workshops, using my narrative therapy diploma to help people learn their stories and create better stories for their future. That was my plan as lockdown hit. So that wasn't really going to be happening. So I started looking online for other things. I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to let it get me down or anything like that. So I spent a lot of time and a lot of money on learning new things and doing some training. I did the World Summit with Tony Robbins over a weekend, and that was absolutely amazing, which I'd never have been able to do before lockdown. So I can thank lockdown for that. And I realised that I've loved words for so long in my life, and it was so important to hear your story in business as well as in life. Life is important, and your business is important, because it forms your life. It's part of your life, and getting the right story out there for both your life and your business is really, really important. So I learnt a specific story of how a specific story form that you can use in your business to help connect with your ideal client. So the words that we tell ourselves are really, really important. What we say, how we do it, it drives us, and it can stop us right in our steps. If we say I can do it, we can do it. If we say we can't do it, we can't do it. And words to ourselves that we say to ourselves are just as important as the words we say to each other. But the words we say to our clients are the important words to get them to come to us and understand and learn what we know. So stories connect with us on a deeper level. They're part of our psyche. They're part of our neurological development. We've been telling stories for millennia. Well, have we been around for millennia? I can't remember. But you know, you got the from the cave drawings on the wall to EastEnders, it's all been story. It's all a form of story. It's all telling a story. Before newspapers were around, the storytellers and troubadours would go around and tell the stories. So we're actually programmed to understand and listen to a story, and we're more likely to listen to a story 22 times more than we are to facts and figures. So you could tell people how the Reiki works or the massage works, but they're never going to listen to it. It's all about how they feel. People are very emotional. They're very emotional buyers. They're very emotional people when they come to booking things and stuff like that. So the whole idea about your story is to tell them that you know where they are, that you've actually solved the problem, and that you can help them get where they want to go. So especially in today's age, where it's people are scrolling through, everything's online, people are scrolling through Facebook, you need to pick the words out that are going to resonate with them. So that's why it's really important to know your ideal client. If you know your ideal client, and the more you can narrow that niche down, the better, because you know exactly who you're talking to, you know exactly what words and exactly what story to tell. And you can do that multiple times. You don't have to just limit yourself to that one niche. But once you've got that niche and they've converted into your ideal fans, they love you, they'll tell other people. And so you can expand that way. And there's still millions of people that will be in your niche, and you just know how to talk to them properly. So the story that I'm going to just quickly go over with you today is a 3 basic point story. This is the one that I teach in my one-to-ones. And we go through, when I do the one-to-ones, I narrow down your niche as far as we possibly can, so we know exactly who you're talking to, because it's no good taking a plate full of sausage rolls into a room full of hungry vegetarians. You want to take the room full of sausage rolls into a room full of hungry people that love sausage rolls. So you could be telling a beautiful story, or you could be selling a beautiful product, but if you're trying to sell it to the wrong people, you're not going to sell anything. But find the right people to sell it to, and you'll be able to sell it over and over and over and over again. So the 3 basic point is, all you need is to show them where their pain are, and that you understand it, that you've been in that pain before yourself. So for instance, back pain, you can just say, just as simple as, I had chronic back pain, I could barely get up in the morning, it was a struggle to go up the stairs, and I couldn't play with my kids. Just 3 very simple points that anybody that has severe back pain or any form of back pain can recognise and understand. I had Reiki for the first time. It was amazing. My back pain eased off, so I learned how to do the Reiki myself. I now practice Reiki. Then my back pain has gone. I can go up the stairs without any problems, and I can tumble around the floor with my kids till our heart's content. I love it, they love it, we're happy. That is a simple 3-point story that you can tell people, or put on your Facebook posts, or just put in your newsletters, or anything like that, just so people can then say, well, I am there, that's me, I can't get out of bed in the morning, I can't get up the stairs, and I'd love to play with my children. Maybe this Reiki will help me get over that and be the person I want to be, like this lady, or this person, or whoever is selling the service, because you want to help people. So you want to show people that you can do what they need you to do to make them the person that they want to be. So people will emotionally see you with the problem that they have, and that you've solved that problem, and that you've got the solution. So you're taking their pain and you're making it a positive. And it's just a 3 simple step story. And if you pick 3 things and you correct and find the solution to each of those 3 things, it can be 3 different things for 3 different types of people. But if you know your ideal client, you can pick the words that will resonate with them, because words are so important. They really, really are so important with people. And if they're scrolling down and they've got back pain and they see those words, back pain, on their feed, they will stop and they will read it, because it resonates with them on an emotional level. So storytelling is an emotional way of connecting with people. now I know I've only got 10 minutes today, so I can't go into it too far, but I am really passionate about words. I'm not sure how long I've taken, because I've forgot to check the clock. So yeah, does anybody have any questions at the moment about what I've just very briefly gone into?
If you just unmute yourself and just ask your questions, if anyone's got any.
Can you tell us one of your most successful clients and what it meant to them?
I've had a number of clients. I've had yourself. Your story is amazing, Karen. It was so heart. It really emotionally resonated, and that story is really, it's really going to get you far. You've just got to learn the right way of telling it. That, and even if you get emotional when you tell it, it's going to really connect with people even more, because they will emotionally bond with you and they will emotionally resonate with you. So far, I'm my most successful client, because it's still all very, very new, and I'm getting out there and I'm telling my story, and more people are resonating with it, and more people are coming to me for advice. I'm still very I'm still waiting to see how people progress with their stories. Once I've done the 1 hour, I then offer a 30 minutes catch up as well, so we can go over it, see how it's going, see if we can tweak anything. So it's just basically, at the moment, yeah, I'm my most successful client, but that's how we need it to be, really, isn't it? So yeah, and thank you, Karen, that was a lovely question.
No, it's true, isn't it? That, you know, I think all of us as therapists will be our own clients at some point.
Yeah,
and we
you've
will
got to teach yourself, haven't you? You've got to heal yourself. I mean, I've done a diploma in narrative therapy. I've done a mental health awareness course, doing a psychology degree at the moment. Words and how the mind works has interested me since I was a small child. When I was in my teens, I got a book on body language, so I could learn all about body language, because that really affects us and will affect our psychology and how we feel. It's very difficult to, if you get depressed, you'll sink back down and your whole body posture will change. But if you sit back and sit up, it's actually quite difficult to get depressed. If you're sitting in a really positive way, it's just the whole physiology and psychology just fascinates me. And I love energy as well, the energies that you put out. I've done Reiki too, so I can help release positive energy to people when I'm speaking in public. So I do want to do that again, because then I can help lots of people. But for the time being, during lockdown, I want to help women in business start getting heard more, because there's more and more people online trying to sell the same sort of things, and your story just helps you get that one step further. And when people love you, they won't change. They won't. If somebody really invests in a story, they won't want to change that story, no matter what you say. It's like Trump. Trump has developed such an amazing story around himself that people have bought into. You could tell them anything and they just won't believe you. You could give them facts, figures. You can give them absolute proof. Trump could probably tell them themselves that, you know, something against himself, but they won't believe it, because it's against the story that has been created for themselves and for Trump. Disney used story, Coca-Cola used story, all the big brand, Richard Branson used his story. He's made himself, his story is that he's the go-getter, he's the entrepreneur that likes to be doing things and going places and trying new things. And that's a story that he's created around himself and his brand. And everybody can do that, because everybody's got their story. It's just finding the story and finding the right people to tell it to.
I think, Polly, with the best will in the world, you've got to remember that as therapists, we are not allowed to say that we have cured anything. That we
No, I'm not saying you've cured it.
So
I'm saying
the story is very limited. We can't say that, you know, I've cured my back pain because I've done reflexology. The story is much more limited and much more has to be much more general. we are so governed by what we can and cannot say. So it's not quite as easy as it would be in a normal business. And that's just something that I think you need to know, to really get hold of, to grip.
Yeah. So with in that case, what you'd say is it's helped my back pain. So instead of saying it's cured my back pain, it's helped my back pain, or my back pain is less.
Yeah, you can't even. To be honest, it is such a grey area. I don't think you can even link it to each other.
You cannot link them together.
So you can't say my back pain's gone because I've had reflexology, or you can't even say it's better. It's really difficult. All you can say is that you can talk about well-being, and you can talk about relaxation. And actually, most illnesses are to do with stress. So if you hit the relaxation, you're gonna somehow hit the. I
was only using that as an example of how to link the stories. So you find their pain point, and you say how you can help them with their pain point. Do people come to you generally for a reason, and you want to make them feel better? I would have thought they'd come to you for some relaxation, for a treat, to make them feel better.
Yeah, all of those, I think.
Yeah, so maybe you can you could say, are you feeling? I was feeling stressed. I was feeling overwhelmed, and I had a treatment, and I feel so much better now. You know, you don't have to specifically say it was one thing. If you think of the reasons why the people come to you, and how they think of the reasons why people come to you, and how you help them during your sessions, and then just mention that. So they were stressed when they came to you, they weren't stressed when they left. And you don't have to you could use other people's stories as well. So if I came to you and I was really, really stressed and really anxious, after an hour with you, I left feeling.
You have to be really general, which is why we have to rely more on people leaving reviews, because you can say that, but I can't.
Wendy's just come up with a very, very valid point of saying that it worked for me and it made a huge difference, or it made an impact for me. And then use it as a personal.
You're telling your story. So it's like I said with the back pain, I had back pain, I learnt Reiki, I trained in it, I did it myself, and then my back pain's eased off. You're not saying that the Reiki cured, at no point are you saying the Reiki cured my back pain. You're saying now that the Reiki, it's not.
This point is, I don't think you ought to, because hopefully you're going to talk to lots of therapist network, because what you're actually saying is really cool and really good. It's a point that you need to just take on board, that we can't actually say these things. If you go onto the AOR, the Association of Reflexologists website, there is a huge things of what we can and cannot say. If you're interested, I'll email it over, because you're not a member, you can't get onto that bit of the site. But
that would be really interesting.
There's loads of press stuff that we just can't use.
You can't say, because you're not actually selling your product. What you're doing is you're telling your personal story.
You're on mute, darling. There you are.
Yeah, you're telling your personal story. That's all you're doing. You're not even selling your product while you're telling your story. The idea is to get people to ask you more about the solution. Once they ask you more about it, then you can start selling the product. It's all about connecting with people on an emotional level.
Right.
So you're showing them you're showing them where your journey. That it's a story of a journey. So you've had the journey from pain. You've done that. You're just saying it's one thing that you've tried. You could say you've tried other things, and that you've done other things, and they've all helped. But now that you're doing this one thing, it's helping you even. It seems to be helping even more. It's just you're telling your story. As you're telling your story, you're not selling your product. You're piquing people's interest in you as a person, and interest in how you actually solved your problem. or worked on your problem. I'm not saying solved, because yeah, as you say, it's the wording that is used is very, very important, especially as things are.
I don't have a story. I don't have a story. I don't go from pain into thing. I just appear.
Everybody's got a. Everybody's got a story.
I have no story, none whatsoever.
Yeah, you will have. Everybody's got a story of how they found what they found. Everybody.
No story.
But yeah, and that would be really interesting, so that I can get more of a feel, because there are a lot of therapists out there, and you need to set yourself above everybody else and let people know that you understand where they come from, because somebody's going to go to somebody that knows them and knows where they're coming from and understands where their problem is and what they need. So they will emotionally come to people that they can emotionally connect to, and they'll feel happier, and they'll refer you to other people as well.
Yeah.
That is absolutely brilliant, Polly. So you're saying that you do workshops and you do one-to-ones.
Yes.
So is there anything else that you would do for get rid of chat there. Is there anything else that you would do for people? Is there anything else that you offer?
I'm working on, at the moment, I'm working on a course, a free 4-day challenge that will be on my Facebook page, on my Facebook group, where I'll be challenging people to find their ideal clients and work on their basic story. It's just basically what I've said to you today, but in a much more detailed format. And then I've got a course that I'm creating that will be going up online as well, which again takes it more in depth. And then obviously my one-to-ones, I will sit there personally and question you so that we can really work on it and find the way. Because like Anne said, without knowing the intricacies of therapies and what you can and can't say, I can't just turn around and blanketly say to you, you can say this, this and this. So this is why the one-to-ones are really important, because then people can turn around to me and say, well, I'm not allowed to say that, I'm not allowed to say this, or well, I don't feel comfortable saying that. So then we work on that, and we find ways that we can actually work through it, and ways that we can, and it also helps people with any worries that they have, any reservations that they have about telling their story, because I can explain to them then the reasoning behind it and how it works, and why people just like to hear a story. It's the same reason why people watch EastEnders every single week, is because they like to hear a story, they like to see what happens. So you don't even have to end the story, you can leave it on a cliffhanger. And people will like to know what happened, and they'll ask you questions, and it's all about engaging with people and giving them value and helping them. And there's so many different ways of interacting with people and helping people. And I had trouble with my niche. I really had trouble narrowing it down, because I want to help everybody. And it was one of the things that I really battled with. And I still battle with it, because I need to narrow it down even further, so I know exactly who I'm talking to and how I'm going to talk to them, so that I can really, really find the people that I can help the most. So,
and if we wanted to actually contact you and get more details from you, we would find you on Dandelion Tales.
Dandelion Tales, yes. Dandelion Tales on Facebook. I'm Dandelion Tales 1 on Facebook. I've got Dandelion Tales for Business as well, that's a group. My website should be going up very soon, over the next few days. It's all very, I feel like everything is moving me in this direction, and this is where I should be going. And the universe has gone, right, Polly, we're going to lock down the whole country, so you have to learn this bit. It's always like that, because but yeah, the more people I can get out to and help, the happier I am, to be honest.
Oh no, that's brilliant. Anybody else got anything they'd like to ask Polly, or anything they wish to say before I stop recording?
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to clarify, Polly. I just wondered if you had any stories from people that you've worked with and things that they learnt that you could share with us to inspire
I'm not
us.
sure Polly would be able to, Karen, because of confidentiality.
I can do a very basic. I did have a client who was very adverse to narrowing down the niche that they wanted to work with, but on reflection we discussed it, and once I'd explained it to them, I'd said that niche isn't the niche that you need to be with constantly. They're not the niche that you want to stay with. You don't have to stay with that niche per se. Once you've built up your client base on that niche, they're going to talk about you, then they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell other people, and they'll become your avid fans. They'll resonate with you, and they'll love you, and they'll stick with you, and they'll keep coming back. And then you can find another niche and do exactly the same with that niche, and just continue giving the value to your first niche, but you've just got another niche, and that niche will grow anyway, because their family and friends will be from different niches and different parts of the world and different parts of communities and things like that. So they were much happier once I discussed that with them and shown them, and they're really working hard now on the niche that they've got and really making a difference with that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Polly.
I felt there was a story there. No pun intended.
Yes, I'm going to end the recording there, and because we've had a whole half an hour of Polly amazingness.
Oh,
so if I stop recording there, thank you.
Thank you.